Did you know that the South End neighborhood of Dearborn has historically always been very diverse? So, in a study done of South End school children in the early 1930s, just a few years after Dearborn was established as a unified city, it was found that 80% of them had parents that were born internationally. And while these families were not from all over the planet, they were from a fairly large variety of countries in Europe and into the Middle East. Now, looking at the Arab numbers that you see here on this graph, it's fairly low at about a little over 3%, because at that point in the early 1930s, much of the Arab population working for Ford was still living in the Highland Park area and gradually moving down to Dearborn. So the same study, a 1930s dissertation on Salina School, also included a map showing families of certain ethnic ties. If you look closely at the map, different letters will mark out different families of certain ethnicities. So you can look in there, you can see families that are Polish in ancestry, families that are Yugoslavian, Russian, and so on. And you can also obviously find families with Arabic ties. So for decades, the South End remained this sort of patchwork of different ethnicities. At times in the 50s, you had over 50 different languages being spoken in the neighborhood. Gradually into the 60s and into the 70s, the bulk of the population really shifted towards Arab Americans. Even today, you still have a fairly diverse population of Arab Americans living in that neighborhood.